About this book, the best way to build a career as a writer is through word-of-mouth recommendations from people who love your work. If your words have excited, moved, or delighted people, they will pass on your stories to friends, and those friends will pass the stories on to their friends. How do you inspire readers to feel so strongly about your work that they love and recommend it? You've got to satisfy the specific expectations they bring to the type or genre of your story. That means one of the most important questions any writer faces is, how do I know what my audience's expectations are? When you know the answer to that question, there's a follow-up. How do I make sure I can meet those expectations? In the 4 core framework, we locate the answers to both questions and stories' power to transform us, to open our hearts and our minds in a myriad of ways. As writers, we provide moments of transformation, or catharsis, through 4 elements that together make up what StoryGrid calls the 4 core framework. By focusing on these elements, core need, core life value, core emotion, and core event, this book will teach you how to emotionally connect with your audience and produce the catharsis they seek. First, let's nail down what we mean by genre. Please note that in the following pages, readers encompasses any audience for your writing, including film, theater, and TV viewers, as well as listeners who consume stories through audiobooks, songs, and around the kitchen table or campfire. Chapter 1. Content Genres in the StoryGrid Universe. We see story as a metaphysical phenomenon, as expansive and explosive as our physical universe. Like the universe, story is organized into patterns with specific structures and functions. Instead of constellations and galaxies, stories are organized into units called content genres. We can trace some of those content genres back to the very emergence of human cognition and creativity. About 200,000 years ago, as our Homo sapiens ancestors' cognitive powers evolved, stories became integral to our survival. Naturally, the first stories concerned fundamental human needs: where to find food, how to build shelter, how to identify a mate, how to defend territory. We know about these early narratives because they are the stuff of our first cave paintings, sculptures, and other symbolic representations. We think human communication gradually evolved from the simplest practical stories about physical survival into the primal content genre, action story. The war, horror, and crime genres probably followed as nomadic tribes learned to adapt to threats from others and supernatural forces they perceived working against them. Our ever-present core needs for physical survival and safety define these genres. As human civilization grew more complex, so did our stories. We moved from small hunter-gatherer bands to larger sedentary cultures cultivating the land and building cities. New story structures evolved to hold knowledge about how individuals fit into a group and how people conform to or rebel against others. The need to find meaningful ways to spend time on Earth and to chronicle how we relate to others produced more new story genres. The bottom line is that content genres are categories based on human needs that divide the massive story universe into 12 manageable constellations that we can observe and study. They are action, war, horror, crime, thriller, western, love, performance, society, status, morality, and worldview. For more information on all of the content genres, we recommend a deep dive into www.storygrid.com and a review of our genre-themed titles from StoryGrid Publishing.